Hi, I'm Devi Erickson.
And I'm Dr. Chris Erickson.
And welcome to Tantra Talks. We have been practicing and teaching authentic lineage-based Tantra for almost 2 decades, y'all.
And we currently live with our root Lama, who is an ordained Lama of the Shangpa Kagyu lineage of Tibetan Tantric Buddhism.
Y'all, we live with a freaking Lama. I'm just saying, Tantra is too legit to quit. Y'all, too legit to quit. We know Tantra inside, outside, upside down, smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no, we need a body bag.
Join us for Tantra Talks every Thursday, where we answer your questions about Tantra, about sex, and about intimacy.
Tantra Talks, too legit to quit. Too legit to quit. So we're going to answer a question today about the difference between holistic healing and somatic healing. So what is the difference between the two? And is Tantra somatic healing or holistic healing? So somatic, just to like set the stage here. So somatic healing, the word soma means of the body. Mm-hmm. And so somatic healing has been this kind of revolutionary conversation that's happened in the Western mainstream cultural dialogue, because so much of psychology and psychological healing and psychological work has been so heady, it's been so intellectual, and Western culture, the culture itself creates a disassociation between the head and the body. So having this concept of somatic healing, body-based healing introduced, I think like probably in it was after the Vietnam War when it really became a thing, according to my understanding, like Peter Levine and Dr. Bessel, Ben Kirk, whatever that dude's name was, the body keeps the score, that dude. So like they wwere working, my understanding is they were working like with war vets, right? And they were finding that like, nervous system dysregulation and like, the trauma gets stored in the body. The issues are in the tissue. So that's a basic premise of somatic healing. The issues are in the tissue, so we need to go to the body to transform the issues, because talk therapy alone isn't going to help, if it even helps at all. Opinions differ. So somatic healing, body-based healing has been revolutionary, in my opinion. It's been a very necessary thing. But it's limited, because somatic healing, again, the focus is on the body. But from a tantric perspective, we are more than just our physical bodies. In fact, I mean, we're infinite beings that are in physical form, that are incarnating in physical form. And so if our healing is only focused on the body, then we're leaving out the totality of our humanity. From a tantric perspective, we look at things, or I look at things holistically. And what that means for me is taking into account, yes, the physical body, but primarily the energy body. Because in this Eastern healing tradition, the energy body is senior to the physical body. Yep. So energy precedes matter. This is a fucking fact in like Western reality too.
Energy equals MC squared.
E right? Equals MC squared. Like energy precedes matter. This is a concept that has been taught in Eastern healing modalities for literally fucking thousands of years, y'all. It's not woo-woo, it's Eastern science. So the energy body is senior or superior to the physical body. So what that means is illness and dysfunction manifests energetically before it does physically. And also conversely, wellness can be cultivated energetically before it necessarily manifests physically. And so being trained in both energy body yogas and somatic therapies, what I would say is, and specifically through the lens of trauma, this is my view, is that trauma impacts our physical body and our energy body. We know, based on Western science, the impact of trauma on the nervous system and the brain. We know it is a physiological event that has emotional and psychological repercussions. But the energy body is completely left out of the conversation of somatic healing, right? So the energy body is also impacted, harmed, damaged by traumatic experiences. The thing about the energy body and the energy channels is they're malleable. That what has been, if there's an energy channel that's been distorted or broken or damaged, we can use energy to heal and repair that energy channel. And as the energy channel heals and repairs, so then does the physical. The physical follows. A good example of this is like for folks who have experienced amputation. Like your whole ass leg can be gone, but you'll still feel that shit energetically. Right? And yes, there's nerve pathways, there's nerve endings, but there's also your energy body leg is still there. It still exists, right? And I've encountered folks who this a woman that I dated who had a lot of masculine energy, and she had an energy cock. Physically, she had a vulva and a clitoris. Energetically, she had a cock. It was a cock. Right? I could sense it, see it, feel it. And that was one of the ways her energy manifested, right? So, and not fucking woo-woo, y'all. Like for real. Like this shit, for those of us who are energy sensitive, this shit is tangible. Like it's like we feel it, we see it, we feel it, we experience it. I have pains from energy body purifications that show up physically. Like 2 weeks ago, I was purifying a curse or an implant, I'll say, out of my organs in the left side of my body. And for 48 hours, it felt like someone had kicked me in the side with steel-toed boots. And I could barely move. I could barely breathe. And it straight up felt like my whole left side should be black and blue. Yet, there was no discoloration. There was nothing there. And I don't even think it was 48 hours. I think it was like a day and a half. I think it was 36 hours. Whatever, the implant fully purified, back to normal. I barely fucking remember it, right? So my point in all of this is that, like, the energy body is senior to the physical body. And for those of us who adhere to that, like, that's facts. That's for real. So when it comes to somatic healing versus holistic healing, if all of my focus is only on my physical body, it doesn't explain all this other phenomena that I experience. And it also doesn't include and bring to the table like the rest of my human experience. I keep saying the energy body, but there's also there's the energy body, there's the spiritual body, there's karma, there's past lives, there's all of this shit. Like the soma and the physical body is only one aspect of our humanity. It's the most gross, it's the grossest, not like ew gross, but like the most material.
Unsubtle.
The most unsubtle, thank you, manifestation is the soma, is the physical body. And so that's a beautiful, like, in my opinion, like all healing must start in the body with the body, because this is where the fuck we are, but it's got to include all the pieces of our humanity and not just the material, tangible aspect of our humanity.
Yeah, and one of the big differences, I think, between just somatics and a holistic approach is that a holistic approach tends to work better outside of the rigid frameworks of binary thinking. The issue with a somatics heavy approach is that, particularly in the West, where you've got a very long tradition of the body and the mind or the soul as being separate things, and the body is an obstacle to the development of the soul, things like that. The holistic approach gets rid of that. So there is a tendency, unless that dualism is dealt with, to either focus on the mind, right, as the top-down approach, or to just focus on the body at the expense of the mind. And neither one of those approaches are great.
Well, they're limited.
They're totally
dualistic.
Limited. They're dualistic and they're limited. They cannot provide the whole picture on their own. And so combining them, and in that process, you combine not just the mental and the physical, but the energetic, the spiritual, the sexual, the emotional. And so it all starts to come in on a variety of different levels. And again, the dissolution of that either or, well, which one is the best? Well, that's going to vary from moment to moment and circumstance to circumstance. And it's not, there's no permanent fixed, only this one, right? So you have to have some flexibility to move between them and understand what the limits of each of them are, so that you can push somatics as far as it's going to go. But at the same time, you're going to leave, as you were saying, you're going to leave out the energetic or the psychic or psychological or whatever else.
Well, so, I love that you mentioned spiritual, because that is a piece that I feel is so lacking in our Western culture. In
yeah.
fact, to the point where you're like penalized in some cases for talking about spiritual. It's
Yeah.
like you're woo-woo, or you're, Christian nationalist, or, whatever it is, for like believing in something other than what we can see, taste, touch, and smell. And in my opinion, the lack of the unmoored aspect, or the fact that Western culture is so unanchored in a healthy relationship to spirit, to our ultimate nature, to that which is beyond the physical form, is a cause of massive dysfunction in
And
I
in
would
the
say
physical realm.
I would say holistically,
yeah.
again, or through like many industries, even the wellness industry. It's not rooted in any authentic spirituality. It's rooted in like ego identity and white Western individualism. That's what the wellness industry and capitalism is rooted in. That's not fucking spirituality, right?
It's not.
And so also applying this specifically to the topic of somatic healing and somatics, like that the lack of spiritual attunement is viscerally painful for me. And I'm going to use an example. So I have a friend who I've known for many years, and this person is they're currently doing somatic experiencing. And so they're, like integrating that language and that ideology. And I was sharing with this person a really deep trauma that had occurred. Like, it was like I had this trauma of a profound loss in my life, and then I had like layered on top of that, like at the same time, I had this trauma of being like vilified and dehumanized and demeaned professionally. And it was like these two things on top of each other. And the way I described it was a fucking soul wound. Like that was a fracture to my fucking spirit. It was like this, like, again, visceral. Like, I don't like just think emotions. I fucking feel emotions. I feel them in my body and my like whole soul. I feel them, So I was feeling the pain of this, and this experience happened a long time ago. But I was reflecting on my friend. I was like, yeah, like this is a really deep pain, and like I really, like it resurfaces, right? And so I'm sharing this, and they put it in the somatic experiencing think speak. They put in like, oh, that's an co-emergent trauma, blah blah blah. And I felt as if I felt it as violence. Quite frankly, I felt as if my truth had been silenced, because my visceral, lived, embodied experience of trauma, of a soul wound, was being put into the box of basically a white Western male think speak, somatic experiencing. And like, no shade, like bless his heart, but he's a white dude. And like the language around it, not that there's anything wrong with white dudes, right? I always got to say that, but like I'm just saying, like culturally, it feels very different to be like, oh, you're experiencing a co-emergent trauma, and this is the way we describe it in somatic. Fuck somatic experiencing. I'm telling you that my fucking soul has been ripped out of my fucking chest because this shit happened. Like, that is a soul wound. You're not going to fix that with Western, what an atheist fucking language. You're going to fix that by addressing the spirituality, the depth and profundity of the harm. You're going to, like, on a spiritual human level. So that's a thing that I find with, the somatic speak and somatic experiencing, is it's a very Western lens, and I can feel how void it is of the spiritual essence of this, the spiritual essence of our humanity. When we are injured, we don't want to think speak. We want fucking empathy. I don't want to be told I have a co-emergent trauma. I want someone to be like, holy fucking shit. Like, I'm so sorry. And how do we put your spirit back into your body after these motherfuckers ripped it out? Like it just, like, there's a humanity to me that is missing when we get to structured about your experience, your lived experience as a human.
Yeah, these little compartments.
Yes, because that's the Western way. It compartmentalizes our trauma.
Exactly.
Right? And that's why, like, one of the other aspects of the somatic thing is, like, a lot of these, what we call practices, somatic breathing, motherfucker, like, breath is a fundamental aspect of time. These people have been teaching fucking breath work for 10,000 years. That shit is not new.
No, it's not.
It's 10,000 years. Or feel your feet on the floor and like look in your environment. That's the thing Indigenous people did. Like to and make eye contact with their community after a traumatic event, to feel the humanity, to feel included, to know that you have support. Like some of these, somatic techniques were fucking stolen from other cultures, and then you want to call those other cultures woo-woo. But we're allowed, so it's woo-woo basically until the white cultural capitalist power structure says it's acceptable.
Since we figured out how to make money off of it.
Yeah, and so now that somatic experiencing is okay, or has been accepted into mainstream, now these indigenous cultures are no longer woo-woo, but now their traditional methods are being exploited and extorted for profit,
and
for
more
money.
often than not distorted.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I've got a bone to pick about this one. I like, because it really infuriates me. I've been like dismissed and called woo-woo my whole life because I have the ability to see, sense, and feel shit that other people don't. And it isn't until like literally y'all, like white men, decide to make a profit off of it that I get to be who the fuck I am in this world. Like, that's fucked up. So again, like with somatic experiencing, like, blessed, it's a wonderful fucking thing, but it's also limited. And it's also co-opting indigenous wisdom and knowledge. Are you paying these fucking people for this shit? Are you paying these people, these tribes that you research with? Are they getting fucking paid too? Because, I mean, that's a thing, right? Mm-hmm. So, anyway.
And again, it doesn't do anything to the underlying, what's the right word? Logos of this, which is again, this is the external thing that's going to fix it. No, this is the external thing that's going to fix it. And it doesn't matter if it's somatics or psychiatry or whatever. It's this external thing. When the solution, as we learn in the tantric path, is always already here. Inside all we got to do is remove the blocks to seeing and comprehending it, and to kind of getting in tune with that. Mm-hmm. And if we can do that, then all of a sudden, it's this and this,
it's and both
this and this,
it's all
and that.
But it's also like, I love that you said that, because it's healing from the inside out. And I think that's what like all these modalities, maybe not all of them, but what some of them attempt to do is help guide and direct us to the inside so that we can repair, and heal on the outside. Yeah. Again, the problem is if it's not holistic, meaning taking in the whole of the human and just focusing on one compartment of the human, then the healing is going to be ineffective and or incomplete.
Yeah.
Right? So
absolutely.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I think somatic healing is a necessary part of holistic healing. I think holistic healing must include somatic healing. It must include energy body healing. It must include your environment. And what you put in your body is going to produce a certain chemical result. And it must include our relationship. And it must include these systems of oppression that we have to fucking navigate, that load toxic stress on us that are going to affect how we function emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Like, it's all inclusive. It's a whole picture. It's not just one part. You can do all the somatic experiencing work you want, but I mean, if you're pulled over by the cops and you're like the wrong fucking color, that doesn't mean you're not still going to get killed, right? So it's a whole picture. It's not just one piece.
No, it's not.
So anyway, that's my 100 cents to $1 that I put in to this conversation. Don't hate me for it. Peace out, y'all. Hey there, thanks for listening to Tantra Talks. We hope you loved this episode as much as we did. Make sure you like and subscribe to Tantra Talks on all your favorite listening outlets, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, so you don't miss a single juicy episode.
And make sure you head over to authentictantra.com and register for our free introduction to Tibetan 5-element Tantra. Heal, transform, and empower your life with authentic lineage-based Tantra.
Too legit to quit. Too legit to quit. Too legit to quit. Too legit.